Okay, good night. So I finished, I think 17 balls, which is which are half of the balls. All of them are eventually of the type of like clay. I mean synthetic clay. I mean, but not colored. As I said, I think I like this style, and I think that I should have enough for all of it. I mean, I was misjudging like the required material because you can actually use much less than I thought in the beginning, because I thought that you needed to make it very thick because I mean, in order to so I mean, the like the germ layer will not like I mean like the I mean the microbe. It's not only microbes. Actually, some life forms you can see with your own eyes. So I mean, so this layer will not I mean, just I mean. somewhere go get out like I mean spill out, but actually you can do it like with much less material because I mean actually dries very quickly. So I mean if you just wait a while like an hour or two, I mean then it's much easier to use much less material. And of course I will also use varnish like eventually after a couple of days, but it looks something like that. Maybe I'll add like a little bit of like changes, but there are all sorts of them. And there are those here, as you see, some of it is cracked, so I need to fix the cracking with natural clay. Then wait just a little bit, apply this layer of like synthetic life forms and the acrylic, and after a while, I mean apply like I mean again synthetic clay and with various like textures and designs, and later varnish. I really thought like that I'm going to go to sleep now because I'm extremely tired. But I mean the other like I mean my neighbors, my dear neighbors, like in the hostel, like in the apartment, I mean they they gave me like so many messages that I mean they have to get like the balls like that I need to give it to them, or perhaps sell it like in an auction or something like that. And so of course it's always nosy and it's always terror, and I mean I understood that I mean they will not shut up before I just I mean wrap all of these with the same layer, like the layer of the microbes. And so I'll do it right now before I actually go to sleep, even though I'm very tired. But I mean it must be done. As I said, the main reason for me like creating those eggs is not to sell it because I cannot sell it, I'm a slave. But the main reason is that I mean the pressure and the terror will somehow decrease. And I know that it happens because I've just the same thing happened with the different like scumbags of the Shabaka in my mother's department in Shoham. Like I mean I'm used to it. Now there is something different right now. Actually it wasn't always like that, but there is like an extra element here which I maybe I should elaborate like for those that are really new. And I said that there are some people that are really new to like my blogging and publishing, and I mean I cannot reiterate everything. I've spoken so much, like thousands of hours, like and for videos and like recordings and also written, like I mean 4 years of like so much. But like my ministry, I mean I'm not ashamed to say it, but I mean it was ministry which is all pain and suffering and mostly humiliation. I've said in the past that I think that I mean maybe it sounds like I mean in peculiar way, like I mean kind of like vanity, and I hope God will forgive me for this vanity. But I remember like at some point maybe like a year ago that I mean I suffered so much, and I was like I mean I was like in the woods in like the Shoam wood, like I mean forest, like just I mean try to relax from all this, like just I mean by going to the nature, something that I've done quite a lot. And I've tried to create like a comparison. I know that it sounds incredibly vain between me and Jesus, and I came to the conclusion that in one parameter I quote unquote like beat Jesus. Like I mean I managed to outdo Jesus. And you know what's the parameter? The parameter of humiliation. Every piece of shit in Israel allows itself like to like put its boot over my face, and it's getting only worse. But it's like it for many years now. The most retarded, the most like pervert, I mean the criminal that I mean was thrown from his own land, like it was his own country because nobody wanted it, and I mean he was just I mean taken by Israel because I mean it's like a trash can of the entire world. I mean this guy I mean allowed himself like to treat me like a slave and to speak to me like a slave. So I mean I think that I even like outdid him like in this parameter of humiliation. I should say the following. What you see, what's different now is the gradual manifestation of a very important concept in my art for a long time now, like since the beginning, like a year and a half ago. And it got only more important with time and more elaborated. And at some point, it also got like textual, description. And these texts can be found in several of the other sides of several of the paintings. This, you can see it in this YouTube channel quite a bit. The issue of the causes, like curses of the earth, like the plagues of the earth. Also, plagues that I put with God's permission on the earth. And this, there's many representation in the sculptures. Again, a lot of it was destroyed, but also in many of the paintings. And when it's done on the paintings, it's usually the way that it is it's like a series of 4. And on each of the 4, there is this almost the same symbolic drawing and some text in the other side, and also description in one of the 4. So these, I didn't understand it right away, but at some point I understood that actually the curses, the plagues, are related, that in a way. One is also you can actually theoretically you can deduce all of it from any one of they are a group that all the members can be deduced from any kind of member. Or maybe you should say if you really want to be nerdish about it, from you can say that they're you can create a reduction. Okay, let's not be too nerdish about it, but not to alienate anyone. But the idea is that they are closely related to the point that maybe that they can be deduced from one each other. The first one, and it was evident very early in my painting, since February 2022, is the closing of the gates. Because, of course, the culture that created the gates, were much superior to yours, and I don't know if they were. I'm not so sure that they were cherubs, but I do know that they used the technology of the Neros. They lived in symbiosis with the Neros, for certain. But theoretically, they can still mean that like the cherubs, but maybe they are not cherubs because the Neros can theoretically live in symbiosis with any number of civilizations. But it's clear to me for even with direct communication, because sometimes I even directly communicate with the Neros. Again, not using text but using drawings, but they also do the drawings. Actually, if you don't know, this was a major issue in my research, at the beginning of the research, in January, February, and they're amazing drawing of the Neros, the Neros did. If you think, this is widely documented on YouTube. It's amazing. They do amazing symbolic drawing. So, even by direct communication and also other ways, I know that they can control the gates. Maybe there is no civilization that created it, but the Neros created it, these gates by their own volition. It's also an option. Also, but I don't think it's true but it's complicated. I think I've never seen a gate in my life, and certainly I didn't let pass through it, or maybe only by a kind of a trick, but I didn't know that I do it. So I should say that probably the Neros created it for usage of other civilizations, because themselves they can probably create it just small scale for their own needs. But I understood that maybe at some theoretically it could be used for good purpose, theoretically. But I understood that for more than 100 years it's used for horrible purposes. Then it must be stopped and must be closed. There are many ways to actually symbolize the closing of the gates, and it's done like in many of my paintings and many sculptures, and I said many were lost. But that's like one way to do it. The symbol of like, I mean, that you see here, which is like, I mean, a circle and a circle and a circle, which is black in the inside, is a common like way to actually, I mean, say that the gate is closed. Even though like, if you want to symbolize gate, like, so like not a specific one that it closed or open, or like, I mean, the concept of the gate, like, I mean, when you communicate with the Neros, I mean, the Neros themselves, they use something like that actually. Like, they draw like functional like symbol of like of a wormhole, if you understand, like something like very similar to this one actually. There is also the issue of like having to significant a specific one, which is according to the background, and I mean I spoke about it like quite a bit in this channel. It's an interesting subject. Everything that is related to the symbolic language that I mean between me and the Neros is, I think, very interesting. And like I've spoken about it quite a bit, but I still have a lot to say. It's a very interesting subject. Maybe some of you think, like, is this a kind of like a rival situation? So I would say yes, but I mean with the caveat that I mean in a rival it's much more like, I mean, mathematical and also visual, and in this case it's only visual. So this is one, like plague of years, and another is the asteroids. Another one is like is the starship like that fight the Earth with the radiation, and there are all sorts of like plagues. Some are actually more abstract. Anyway, this manifests itself right now. So the little fuckers in Israel, like the Titan females in Israel, they now, I mean, as they say, they are עומדות מול שוקת שבורה, literally so, because I mean, they now, because I mean, they need the male like thing, like the male stuff, and if they can't pass the gate, I mean, how can they get the male stuff? Now it should be said that they already got it for me, like, I mean, mostly for me for like a long time now. I don't exactly know why, but probably because, I mean, as they say many times, the great white buffalo, I mean, they cannot pound like the males. I mean, they are killing them for so long. So, I mean, they just, I mean, I don't know if they went extinct. I mean, it's a whole planet. Probably, I mean, the Israelis, I mean, they have access like only like to several like regions, but I mean, it's also probably, I mean, covered with like oceans, like, or frozen tundra. So, I mean, and probably it's very sparsely like populated, like they're Paleolithic in frozen tundra like planets. So how many could there be? Like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't like much more than 100,000 like males. Like even when, I mean, when the Israelis first started like their slave raids, like in the entire planet, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not much more than that. And I mean, very quickly you can hunt like, I mean, the great white buffalo and put them like in extinction, like almost close to it. Of course, they infected them with the disease. They raped them. They did everything that you couldn't think of. This is actually ancient history. It was already like old history, like at the time of my predecessor. But there were other like episodes in this saga. All are tremendously tragic and sad and cruel. So now these females, I mean, they think, okay, where can we get it? Okay, so we can get it from this guy. Even though, as I said, they already got it from me like for quite a bit of time. It's not a new issue. That's why I suffer for so much, and I mean tortured, because they want the stuff and they don't. As I said many times, they don't want to sell it. They wanted to give it for free. That's why there is like a shortage of this material in the last 2 years, and as a result, a shortage in the red, what they call the red Neros, what you call tea or coffee or whatever. I don't really understand what's the difference. Probably something disgusting, but anyway. So I as I said several times, I do not wish to participate. Two things are very important to say in this context. One is that I do not wish to participate in any theater show, not a theater show of courtroom or of capitalist marketplace. I have no free right. I mean, I have no rights. I'm a slave here. I'm tortured by my neighbors all day and all night. I cannot leave this place, and like I'm under arrest. I was put under arrest, like, I mean, for false accusation 3 days after I received my passport, because I intended to leave Israel, like, I mean, at least, I mean, temporarily, for a week or so, like, to sell this stuff, like, in Hong Kong. But, to sell this stuff in Hong Kong. But, I mean, 3 days after I received the passport, the Israeli arrested me. This was last December. Again, recorded very thoroughly in my Twitter account, if you have access to it. Presumably it's public, but you know that Israel control it. So, I mean, okay, I cannot sell it. I cannot really sell it. I cannot use auctions, which is a ridiculous idea. I mean, how can you actually suggest auction? I mean, the Shabak will control it. They will, I mean, define exactly who is buying what at what price. It will not be really open to the public. It's the same as this YouTube channel is not really open to the public, but only open to whatever like the Israelis wanted to be open to. I'm not going to sell my paintings for nothing. Like, they worth a lot of money because of many reasons, but even the material itself, I mean, with the nanobots and the synthetic life forms, is amazingly, like, it's worth, like, is amazing. And I mean, adding the issue of like superconductor and the issue of, I mean, as a proof of like alien life in itself, I mean, you cannot overestimate how much it was, and I will not sell it for nothing, as the Israeli wanted me to do. And I'm a slave, I cannot sell it. The only way I can sell it is like, if first, I mean, you release me from captivity, you rescue me from the Nazi prison, and second, wherever I am after that, with my daughters, you allow me to speak. That I'll have free speech, because you cannot sell anything, I mean, and least of all art is without free speech. You need to be able to talk. And I mean, the trade must be like, transparent. I mean, not like, like, you know, the deals that they do in Shabak to, Shmulik owes something to like Yossi, and Yossale owes something to Tzvika, and Tzvika owes something to Dani, and Dani owes something to Shmulik. No, I'm not going to do such a thing, and I'm not going to like give any chunk of like of my the profits to the profits to any office, be it like the Shabak or any other office in this world. No, I am not like partner of any intelligence organization. I want to sell it like in free trade, a free market, the transparent, open to the public. As I said many times, it's not my agenda to appear in the news, like in the TV news or the newspaper tomorrow. It's not my agenda, but I'm not willing like to do like secret sales. No, not at all. No. The fact that I exist and sell stuff will not be kept secret. Should also say another thing in this regard, and I spoke about it quite a bit in the Twitter account actually. Up to December when I was arrested, but in September, October, November, December, I actually spoke about it quite a bit. But I would say the following: I'm against the commercialization of bodily functions. Like I'm really against surrogacy, pundekau surrogacy, like in human context. And I don't care if like the clients are homosexuals or heterosexual couple with problems with fertility. In any case, I'm strongly against it. For parallel reasons, I am against like commercializations of our own, like the cherubs and titan bodily functions. The correct way is as God intended. There will be like a female and a male, like titan and titaness, or cherub or cherubess, I don't know. But also, cherubs can also like mate with titan and like create offspring. This is very lucky for the titans because it's probably the only option actually to have children is me. Because I don't see them like do it with like, they have sex. They had plenty of sex, like with the titan males, like over the last couple of years, like or maybe a decade or two. But so the issue is the but. Probably, they don't. Manifestly, we don't see kids, but anyway. The same principle applies that, there is exchange of fluids between the male and the female. It's part of sexual function and reproduction function. It's not the natural way that, the male sells his G's like in clay balls to the females, and the female sells their tea to the homosexual and pedophile, like, captains in the Shabak. No, that's not the natural way, and it creates a ton of abuse. So I have no incentive in like keeping like pure clay, like with my pure semen. Like I mean, it's opposite like to what you see here, which is my semen, like in ejaculation in every like egg with a layer of these life forms and ozone neros. Because I mean, why should I care? Like from my perspective, these I mean the ones that contains the life forms, like the polluted one was more than the pure one because it contains much more robots and also like I mean like proofs for alien life and amazing stuff. It's true that it's probably I mean I would guess that you hear the noise. I guess the Titan females are very afraid of eating it, and actually I'm not certain. I'm not sure why. It's less like intuitive than you might think because I mean this position because maybe don't who said that I mean they cannot eat like these like life forms, maybe they can eat it like I mean they don't care, you know, they like to eat all sorts of like I mean it's part of their sexual habits. I mean they like to eat and drink all sorts of like I mean probably I mean questionable material, but so it's only an health issue. It's not like an issue of disgust. It's just an health issue. And who said that it's detrimental to their health? Maybe it does. I don't know. I just don't know. But anyway, they are afraid of it. And as you heard right now, I mean, even when I just, I mean, raise the idea of like solving this batch with the same like layer, which I'm going to do right now after I finish the video. I mean, I get all those of reaction from like, you know, the army of reactors. Reactors are actually important issue. So I should say, Batman, I don't care at all about those females. They, I mean, abused me all my life. They tortured me, and I really don't care. I mean, whatever. I don't care at all. Go fuck yourself. Disgusting witches. That's my position. Now, reactors. You know that there is a radiation attack on Earth right now. It mostly affects Titan females, but it affects all humans. And I mean, it will cause very shortly. I mean, it will cause like dramatic spike in cancer. But it's also probably dangerous for nuclear reactors. Just I mean, I've spoken about it like in one of the previous videos, but maybe I mean we mentioned reactors, so yes. So you need a way to I mean to protect your nuclear reactors if you have like any of these, because the radiation is not going anywhere, and you don't have any way to actually stop it. Besides, you can temporarily, I mean, no, not temporarily, but I mean temporarily from like I mean from like region point of view, like I mean. You can I mean protect a certain like area. I'm not sure like what kind, like what size, but with one of these, actually with two of these paintings. Another reason why they was so I mean they should be priced with I mean they was a lot of money. Why should I give it for free? So if you have two paintings of these, like I mean actually you can create like a, I don't know how small, but I mean, some kind of like, I mean, like a protected zone. And it's a good idea to do it in like, I mean, the vicinity of reactors if you have nuclear reactors, because, as I said, I suspect that in the past it was an issue in Earth. I really don't care about the Titan females. Why should I care? They never cared about me. They became rich like by trading their tea, and that I mean was mostly or almost only I mean was created like with I mean the creation was facilitated by I mean robbing me of like any kind of like normal life, robbing me any kind of hope for romantic relationship, any sexual relationship. My fate was I mean this destiny was I mean to masturbate into papers and to put it like outside so the neighbors will take it. And if when I refused, like when I started to refuse 2 years ago, then they started like to torture me like more than ever. And of course, this is all in the service of this like I mean Kruviot, like the Titan females. And of course, they knew that it takes place, but they didn't care at all. they were so cool towards me and towards my daughters that I don't care at all what will happen to them. God will decide. Certainly, I'm not going to prepare a special kind of like artwork. I mean, to fulfill their like their need of like I mean the Nero juice. Still, it's worth to mention that I mean there are quite a bit of pure ones, like in my mother's apartment, as I said, like from the old batch, because there were hundreds of like doses, and perhaps say 60 or 70 actually are still they still exist both like in balls that are very similar to those ones, and also in more elaborate sculptures. But in total, like something equivalent to 60 or 70 balls like that. And this is actually just a fraction of what that was existed during the last 2 years. Okay.